everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the show. I'm Mark Bader. This is The Bader Show. This is episode 441, and we got a great show for today. I'm really excited as we are going to unveil and announce the Women's College Wrestler of the Year. And to help us do that, from USA Wrestling, my good friend Richard Immel. Richard, welcome to the show, man. Longtime friend. How you doing?
Doing great, Bader. Thanks for having me on, and really looking forward for the opportunity to announce our award today. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
And as I think most people know, right, this is women's college wrestling has been exploding, is exploding. Women's college or women's wrestling in general is, and it's only fitting to come up with, this is the Hodge version for the women's wrestling. So this is the best, most dominant wrestler in all of women's college wrestling. And Richard, kind of maybe tell us about the award, the criteria, and how it's voted upon.
You bet. So the award's been around for 3 years now. This will be our third winner of the award. The previous two winners in 23, it was Yelena McCoyette of North Central College. Last year, Adugu Nwachukwu of William Penn University won the award. So two well-deserving award winners in years past. So the way the voting works is it's taken into account three different voting blocks. So the first one is a group of wrestling journalists who cover women's wrestling throughout the year. The second, women's wrestling head coaches at the different levels of women's wrestling at the collegiate ranks. And then the third one is, of course, the fan vote. Just like the Hodge Trophy, very similar voting process. And so if you win two of the three voting blocks, essentially, you're the winner. They account for 1/3 of the vote equally. So that's kind of the nuts and bolts of the award, and really excited to present the award this year.
Yeah, and a very strong field of candidates for this year's award. All national champions between NAI and NCAA. Richard, can you give us our 8 finalists?
You bet. So we'll go in alphabetical order. The first one is Kennedy Blades of the University of Iowa. The second, Amani Jones of North Central College. Our third finalist is Macy Kilty, also of Iowa. Fourth finalist, Esther Colowell of William Penn University. Fifth finalist is Sage Mortimer of Grand Valley State University. Sixth finalist, Christina Ogunsanya, also of William Penn University. And then we have Cristel Rodriguez of Doane University and Kylie Welker, our third finalist out of Iowa. Like you said, all national champs at the different ranks. We do have 5 from the NCAA teams, and we have 3 from the NAIA schools. So great representation from our finalists across the board this year.
Okay, and let's just get to it. The reason we're here, the announcement, Richard, the 2025 Women's College Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah, thank you for the drum roll. Our winner is Kennedy Blades. She's a junior out of the University of Iowa. Here's Kennedy. Kennedy, very well-respected and well-deserving of this award for the University of Iowa this year. Her first season with the Hawkeyes, she had a 25-0 record, included 100% bonus rate, 23 techs, 2 pins. She won that 160-pound title at the WWC Championships, was the outstanding wrestler of the event, and helped the Hawkeyes win their second straight team title. You might also know Kennedy from Team USA. She was an Olympic silver medalist at 76 kilograms this year in Paris, France. She's won 3 age group world medals. She was a U20 world champion. So a long track record of success for Kennedy on the international stage and now in the college ranks. So congratulations, Kennedy, on behalf of USA Wrestling.
Thank you so much.
Kennedy, I guess the first problem to figure out is, where do you put this? Everything he just listed, you don't have room for any more trophies. I kid. Congratulations. Man, how does it just must be a cherry on top of what's been an otherwise fantastic year for you.
Yeah, I'm super excited to have this award. I definitely, coming from Paris, I was super excited to go to my first college season. And, I try to represent the Hawkeyes as best as I can, especially with getting bonuses and just helping win the national title. But this is just a perfect way to close my season. So really happy to accept this award.
Yeah, maybe just talk about, you've been training at the Sunkist Club for a while now. You're in a full-time school and team with these young ladies who are just having a dominant season. Talk to me about what this season's meant and just like how it's been different maybe from any other teams or organizations that you've participated in or with in the past.
Yeah, I love my team so much. I love that we all go through the same thing, if that makes sense. So when I was with Sunkist, it was just me, Savannah Cosme, and my sister. And we were doing school and then we had RTC with Sunkist. But sometimes it was hard because, the it's not like coaches and my partners didn't really understand like when we had finals or to study, we had to go in after classes, stuff like that. So being here at Iowa, we have a group of 32 of us that all have to do very similar things. And coach is super lenient with us taking time away to focus on school or if we need rest, stuff like that. So the dynamic here is amazing. I really love all of them. And it's amazing that when I came here, like about half of them, I was already on teams with them. It was either world teams or my high school at Wyoming Seminary. So it was super easy to fit in. And we had the same goal. We all wanted to be national champs. We all wanted to be undefeated. So we just pushed each other in the wrestling room and we were able to do that. So um, yeah, I couldn't have been with a better team. And next we have World Team Trials, so very excited for that.
Kennedy, if I might, can you talk about what it's like transitioning from the Olympic level? I mean, you have success at that level, what it's like to go from that into a college program like the University of Iowa and have athletes who have wrestled on the world stage, been a part of world teams, won world medals at the senior level before, like a Macy and a Kylie, what that does within the room to be around that day to day.
Yeah, so going from such a high level like Olympics and then going to college, especially not wrestling college girls really ever because I went straight to the senior level after high school. It was definitely a change. The one thing I noticed is that we pretty much compete every single weekend. So I really like that though because I was able to get more matches and just try different things. Whereas when I was at Sunkiss, I only competed about 6 times a year, so it wasn't too much. But and then just having a high level room, that's what made it also easy because I trained at Sunkiss and everyone was basically a world medalist. Like that room was very decked out with like world titles and everything. And then so it was very similar, although like not everyone was like a world medalist, but everyone was at the highest level. Like sorry, if it was either nationals or they won state, stuff like that. Kylie and Macy bring home world medals that year at U23 and seniors. It was such an easy fit, and just being around that environment mentally, like sometimes it's hard when some people don't want to push themselves, but when you're in a room with people that want to be the best and want to push themselves, it makes it so much easier to go even harder. So that's definitely an environment I was looking for while I was searching after Sunkiss ended, and so. My college career was definitely great this year, and I can't wait for next year.
Sure. You brought up, Macy and Kylie, and obviously Kylie's somebody you've competed against. You guys, you're front runners and a lot of these brackets. Talk about the decision to go there and I'm sure you guys get along, but was there any moment where you had to like make that first contact and be like, all right, we're friends, we're not rivals anymore, though we're going to push each other and probably compete in the future, and what that dynamics, ultimately ends up like?
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely competed against both Macy and Kylie before, which is funny because like now we're all different weights. But yeah, Macy at World Team Trials, and then who's number one, and then Kylie at multiple World Team Trials. So it's great to be in there because I always met them in the finals, so that's like I know that they're like the top girls, and so when I'm looking for partners and stuff, it's such an easy grab and they're both different sizes too now. So one's heavier, one's lighter. So I get different feels, whether it comes to strength, speed, stuff like that. And so now that I'm going 68 kilos, there's probably going to be a combination of both with speed and strength or technique, stuff like that. So it's great to just have these partners. And honestly, when it's like when we do matches and stuff, we go hard, we try to, rip each other's heads off, but that's what's going to make us the best in the world. And that's why we bring back world medals and national titles, stuff like that, is because we have each other to push each other. And, no hard feelings ever. I mean, if you want to be the best, you have to train with the best. So it's great that, we're all at different weight classes and we can, help Team USA hopefully win a title at the senior level. But we obviously want to take care of each other individually. So I think it's funny though, because we've all and I think Macy and Kylie have competed against each other. So the fact that years later we ended up on the same team at different weight classes is just kind of cool to think about. But I love it, and it's perfect how we spread it out too. It's like that those three weight classes, we really try to do bonus points, stuff like that, because sometimes when it came to nationals, I remember I think in my semis, I was really upset because I was trying to get a pin for the team points. And then I was like, you know what? No, next match, Kylie will get it. You know what I mean? So it's just great that we have so much trust in each other because we know how much work we put in the room. So then when it comes on the mat, or if it's time for a team title or team point, stuff like that, we can rely on each other. So I think it's great.
The decision to go down from, Olympic silver medalist at 76, deciding to go down to 68, is that strictly because that's how it's going to be optimal for you? Or was that with any consideration of I'm training with Kylie now, maybe we should avoid each other and spread out for the college and or, senior circuit?
Yeah. So 76 going to 68, honestly, I was just gonna stay at 76 because, I was technically number 2 in the world. So I was I mean, I pretty much beat everyone. So you know what I mean? And I was planning on beating up the Japanese girl again. But when I was at the Olympics, I think the second day I weighed 73.8. And I was just I really tried the entire summer to gain weight. I would never hit 76 at any tournament. And so I was on creatine, I was lifting, I was forcing myself to eat. I hated it, honestly. I just kept thinking I'd much rather cut weight. Because sometimes it's harder to gain weight than cut weight. But I remember telling Coach Mark Perry, I was yeah, honestly, I think I'm just gonna go 68 after the Olympics. And he's like, okay, let's see what your body levels out, when you get off of creatine, stuff like that. So then when season came around, I remember telling Coach Chun, no matter what, I want to go 160, because that would be a perfect weight for me. Even if I have to wrestle off, stuff like that. And she understood that. And so when season came around, I was weighing about 159, and I was I knew I just couldn't hit 167. And I was what should I go for? Worlds and stuff, because I really didn't want to gain the weight anymore. So I just kept, doing my thing, just kept letting my body level out, and I was weighing around 155. And then Coach Terry Steiner was actually talking to Coach Chun, and he's I kind of want to see if we could spread the girls out, Kylie and me, because we are very strong at the heavyweight level, but if we could spread us out somehow, then we could potentially bring a world title, because at the end of the day, obviously we're trying to bring back, world champs, but we want to bring the ultimate world title for the team. And then that was kind of a blessing in disguise, because I always thought in the back of my head, I was I don't really want to go 76 anymore. And I'm weighing 155, and 68 kilos is 149. And should I just try to finally weigh my weight, wrestle my weight? So then I was I don't know, when should I feel 68 kilos? So then Croatia was coming up, and I was talking to Coach Izzy and stuff, and it's plus 2 kilos. So I was oh my gosh, this is perfect, because that's 70 kilos, which is 154. And I was that's literally a pound. That's nothing. I was all right, bet. So I'm going to go 68 kilos. And that shocked the UWW. Everyone was oh my gosh, she's going 68. But I was honestly, I'm really excited, because I finally get to if I could blast through girls heavier than me, I just can't imagine I could get my actual weight. So when it came to Croatia, I was just so excited. I literally weighed 168.9. I just really I wasn't cutting, but I was managing my weight. And so I was like, man, I could really make 68 like easy. Um, so when my first match came, I was like, all right, like let's see, like let's just go all out, And I ended up hitting the girl like, I don't know, 20 seconds or something. And I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely the new weight that I'm going. Like I felt so good at 68. I felt so healthy, strong, hydrated, stuff like that. So then after the whole tournament, I was keeping in contact with Coach Terry Steiner, who's the head coach of women's wrestling. And he was just saying like, yeah, you looked good out there. Like it looked like I didn't even try to cut weight, stuff like that. And I was telling him how like, yeah, I'm weighing like 154, 155. That's like my natural weight. So yeah, I decided to go 68 kilos. And it was kind of nice that they switched the weight from 155 last year for women's college to 160 this year. So that just in case I was heavier, I would still be around that weight. That's why I picked going 160 for the team. And yeah, it just became a blessing in disguise. And Kylie just decided to go 76 because it was just better for her, especially since she was 180 for our team. So yeah, it was just really easy like that. But I kind of was thinking literally the day after weigh-ins at the Olympics, I was just gonna go 68 like next year. I was like, I can't do the same. But yeah,
Yeah, crazy weighing in way under like that. Well, I guess one question is,
yeah, it was crazy.
what do you like? I don't want to say compare and contrast, but tell me something you like about traveling with the Iowa team and competing, and then something that you like about like traveling internationally and competing, that way. Because they're definitely different.
Yeah, that's a good question. So traveling with the team, I think it's really fun because so one thing about me is when I travel, I do not wear anything wrestling because I don't want to like get recognized or anything, and I just get really shy and stuff. So when it comes to the team, we literally have to wear travel suits, and I'm like, shoot. But then, like, if everyone's doing it, it's kind of fun. So it's kind of nice when we're matching and stuff, but like we all style it our own way. So I don't know how to describe it, but basically, I just like wearing like cute stuff, and some girls like wearing comfy stuff, and like I like wear crop top stuff like that. Like it's like cute, like we're all in our own style, so it's just kind of cool to see that. And then it's not funny, but it kind of sucks seeing the girls that are cutting weight, and then I'm the one just eating in the back. But I'm just like, dang, like what the heck is wrong with me? But then when it comes to international, I really like never wear anything wrestling, especially because like if it's to a tournament, there's usually other like countries on the same plane that's competing against you. So I just like being myself and stuff. And then I never usually cut weight, so I like trying different food. Um, I don't even know. I think feel like when we travel internationally, we don't really travel together, but when we travel as a team, we have to be together. So it's nice to just always have like your teammates around you and your friends. But then when you're kind of alone, like I usually just travel with Coach Izzy, but he's like always doing business stuff, so I don't really talk to him. So I don't know if I even answered the question right. But
You talk to the topics. That's
yeah,
great. No, I appreciate it. You painted the picture of the
yeah.
differences, so absolutely appreciate it.
Hey, Kennedy, just touching back on your Iowa roots here and the coaching staff at Iowa. You have Olympians and Coach Chun and Tanya Verbeek, and then you also have Coach Mayab. Can you just talk about their leadership and their influence and how they've impacted you and your wrestling, and maybe touch on some of the other coaching influences that you've had throughout your career?
Yeah, the coaching staff that we have is definitely super elite. They all coached like internationally, Team USA. So that's what really makes the difference, I feel like, compared to all the other colleges, which we're very fortunate to have. Coach Chan has coached me since I was like probably 10 years old, and like Pan Am's or like at the OTC camp, stuff like that. So I always had a great relationship with her. And she loves me. I love her. We're just always like smiling, joking. And since I'm so much bigger, I don't know. I feel like she always tries to wrestle me. And I'm just like, I think I'm a little too big. But and then Coach Gary, he's a little different, but in a good way. Like it's hard to describe. He has like very dry humor, And then sometimes when I say something out of pocket by accident, I don't know how, maybe he ignores it, but like we're always just like, oh my gosh. Like the team, like we're like, what did we just do? But then Coach Gary's just standing there. We're like, oh gosh. But he doesn't say anything, so it's like fine. And he also always has some facts about anything because he used to be a history teacher. So I just learned a lot like of knowledge from him. And then Coach Tanya, I remember when I was younger, she was coaching Team Canada. So I would see her at like some international camps and stuff. But then, now that she's here, it's really cool to just have a relationship with her. In the sense that so what's cool is she went to Paris, or not Paris, sorry, Olympics, like, I don't know, like probably 3 times. And, she took silver and stuff. So it was really nice to relate to her on that aspect where she understands that, like, yeah, it's like bitter but sweet at the same time because like you brought home a medal, but you didn't accomplish the ultimate goal. So she was just explaining that to me, and like she understands exactly what I'm feeling and stuff. Because I couldn't really relate to anyone, because then people would be like, "You're so ungrateful" or stuff like that. But I'm just like, it's hard to describe, like you have to be in the moment. So I just love how she was able to help me like overcome that because it was so hard. I went straight from Paris to Iowa City and I had to like lock in for school, stuff like that. Um, but I just love that she was able to relate to me with that aspect, and she understood that I needed like time off, stuff like that, to like catch up on my life, because I was just focused on wrestling for like literally the entire summer. And also in like Croatia, when we went to Croatia, I was talking to her like, how come there's no like Olympians there or anything? And she's just like explaining how like usually after the cycle, people take time off, people retire, stuff like that. And I was like, oh dang. So she's just super knowledgeable in that aspect too, which I love. So I'm always just learning something different from each coach, and I'm just really grateful to have such an amazing coaching staff.
So the last question I'd have for you is, since you've grown into this role model for the women's wrestling community, what's your message, or how do you approach that as you think about the next generation of this sport that's growing and really, taking the nation by storm?
Yeah, being a role model in this sport is still kind of crazy to me because, I'm competing just as much as the girl that's looking up to me, or training just as hard, stuff like that. And so it's like, man, we're in the same boat, low key, but she kind of looks up to me. So it's like it still makes me like smile and geek and stuff. But it also helps me to become a better person and wrestler at the same time. And like people that look up to me and my fans and stuff actually push me so much because like at the end of the day, like yes, I want to wrestle for myself, I want to wrestle for my Lord and Savior, for my family, but I also want to put on a show for my spectators, because who wants to watch a boring match where you win by like a point or like a passive call? You know what I mean? Like someone, like we want to see suplexes, we want to see
I want to see
blast doubles, we
suplex.
want to see like just so like fun stuff. So it's just like let me try to make that excitement happen. Um and so like when I do that, I hope I also inspire other girls or other wrestlers to like, try new moves, try crazy stuff like that, because like I said in a different interview, unfortunately wrestling isn't as big as other sports like basketball or football or even soccer, stuff like that. But like I feel like if we make it super exciting to watch and stuff, like people like from the outside world will be like, what's this sport? And it can probably hopefully, blast like women's basketball did, stuff like that. So honestly, I just try to do my part in being a good person, a good Christian, a good person in general, whether it comes to school, hard work, my passion for, my extracurricular activities, stuff like that. Because I know there's people looking up to me. And so it's a responsibility, but it's a responsibility that helps me stay accountable of myself. And honestly, I'm really grateful for that.
Well, and I agree. I think if everybody would just hit suplexes in the Olympics, more people would watch. So I'm going to request that everybody hit suplexes in the Olympics. I'm going to ask that you continue hitting beautiful blast elbows and suplexes, because I think that that's good for the sport. So, yeah. I got one last question for you, Kennedy, and this isn't necessarily relevant to winning this award, but I am curious, Kennedy Blades, who's your all-time favorite wrestler?
all-time favorite wrestler? That's a good question. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even really watch wrestling because I'm just so consumed by my own sport.
Yeah.
And I feel so embarrassed when I'm talking to people because I'm just like, wait, who is that? And you don't like, they're like, you don't know who that is? Okay, I'm not gonna lie though, Jordan Burroughs. Like, I know it's like, oh my gosh, but like Jordan Burroughs is like that guy. And so, but no, the fact that I did a photo shoot with him the other day, but like when I was, younger, like he was like the person I looked up to, I was just like full circle moment. It was awesome.
That's great.
But yeah, Jordan Burroughs probably.
Was that a Rudis photo shoot?
Yeah. It was a Rudis photo shoot because USA Wrestling and now Rudis collab. So now it's like a huge thing. It's just cool.
Is that surreal? Like, the guy, the person you looked up to, like you said, as a kid, now is honestly, if it maybe feel really weird to say that he's a peer.
Yeah, no, it's honestly crazy because like I said, like I wore his shoes, like I watched him wrestle when I was younger. I was inspired by the Blast Double because of him. Like that's honestly the only reason why I hit them. And like then I casually like he texts me, I'm like, whoa, like this is like, and I still think of him as like, but I can't. People are like, you're just like him, but I'm like, no, I'm not. But yeah, like, and it's weird to just like I can't like I have to go. Sorry, people call him JB, but I feel like he respects to be called Jordan Burroughs because I still look up to him, But and then he said his daughter looks up to me. I'm like, what's going on? Like, this is just insane. Like, I don't even know what's going on. But it's crazy. It's so surreal. And then someone like Helen too. Like, she's like one of my really good friends and role models I look up to. But like when I was younger, I saw her win the Olympic gold medal, and I was like, I want to be like her, So it's crazy that like it's like these like my generation and that generation's like collabing in a way. But it's like it's almost like they're passing the torch on to this next generation. Like I love seeing JB train with David Carr because he's probably teaching him because he might be the next 74 guy in the future. Who knows? And so he's probably teaching him all these things. And it's almost like passing the torch. So it's just crazy to me, honestly.
You want to think about something
And then
crazy?
like me wrestling Adeline, like what? She used to be my coach. I don't know. Sorry, everything's just kind of crazy to me.
That's all right.
It's cool.
Somewhere across the country, maybe watching this, there's a 7th grader who's looking up to you, who in who knows how many years is going to be standing shoulder to shoulder with you and being like, oh my God, Kennedy was my role model, and now I'm wrestling on a team with her.
Yeah, like crazy.
Yeah.
And I hope that happens because like that's how you just know that each generation is getting better and better. So yeah, it's awesome though.
And hopefully some little young girl believes it, and knows it's going to happen. So that's going to bring us to the end of the show, though. I just want to kind of give you the last word, Kennedy. You can plug your social, you can say hi to your friends, you can say anything you want to say about anything, but the final word from our Women's College Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah, again, I'm really grateful for this award. I love all my fans. I love my family. And I ultimately love my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ because without him, none of this would be possible. And so all glory to him.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, both of you. Richard, for coming on and announcing the award. Kennedy, obviously, for doing great things and winning the award. Congratulations. And, we will see you. Oh, last thing. Hold on. Kennedy. I'm guessing, when are we going to see you again? Because you don't go straight to Final X because you're going 68. Are you going to wrestle this year? Are you going to be at World Team Trials? We're going to see you at the U.S. Open? What's the...
Yeah. No, I'm going to U.S. Open. So that's my next thing. April, I don't even know. 20-something.
24th?
But
5th, I think.
Yeah, 24th. And then hopefully I win that. And then we have Pan Am's in Mexico. And then we have Final X. So there's going to be a lot of things coming up quickly.
All right. Well, we'll keep in tune. You can catch those events right here on FloWrestling. For Richard Emmel and our Women's College Wrestler of the Year, Kennedy Blades. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. We will see you later. Over and out.